Firstly, thank you so much for making time for EduTalks. We are really grateful that you could take out time from your busy schedule and give us your valuable time and come on our platform, sir.
Thank you for choosing me for the talks.
Definitely, sir. So, sir, currently the exams are mostly going on in all the schools, right? So, the fear of exams is instilled in the students very deeply. There have been arguments, though, that about the concept of the exam, sir. Some believe that it helps in assessing the knowledge of students, while some do believe that the exams in India creates a culture of mugging up of the books. So, we would really like to get some insights on the concept of exams, sir. So, what is the idea behind exams?
See, this is a very long debatable issue. If we debate on this, it will take around 2 to 3 months to complete a debate, and we'll still not become to conclusion. Because this is a procedure going on from like my father, his father, that father, this father, grandfather's father. But myself, if you see, I will say I don't really value exams. What I think is exams should be there should be a level. Like for classes up to 5, we should have assessments where each and every child should be personally assessed properly, whether he has been able to grab that particular knowledge, and not the syllabus, that particular knowledge that was to be assigned to that particular child in this particular year. Has that knowledge been grabbed by the student? Was this year, suppose if I take this year 2020-21, was this year fruitful for the child? Was this year a successful year for the child? Did his capabilities, his IQ, his level, his vocabulary, his knowledge about numbers, his knowledge about words, did he grab something extra in this 1 year? Or his level of knowledge is same as it was in the previous year? I think that is the main thing we should look at. Yes, in a bulk we cannot do it, and that is the reason we hold exams, where we give questions so that the child can answer, and on that basis we assess, okay, this particular child has understood this much part of the syllabus for this year. So a child, like I myself was not very good in young language, because language did not drive me. I was influenced basically by maths, by numbers, by science. So that I didn't get good marks in language. That doesn't mean I was a bad student. Exams, I don't think so. In my level, I will be like commenting on this big issue. But I feel up to class 4 and 5, we should have assessments. Where a child should be assessed properly regarding the previous knowledge, what he had, and this particular year, what did he gain?
Coming to my second question, so as you've already briefed it up, so you don't really think that getting good marks is it a good indicator of intelligence?
No, never. In a very short note, no and never. If marks would have been the basic criteria for intelligence, then the university dropout wouldn't have created histories. Intelligence is something different. Intelligence grows by the everyday thing that you do. Suppose today nobody knew how to attend the Google Meet. Nobody knew what about Zoom. Now everybody knows. That means it is a need. When it came as a need, people tried to know about it and they gain knowledge about it. So we have to put inside a children that you need it. These are the basic things you need it in your life. While, like if I say a student who has a good knowledge in numbers and a student who has a good hold over language, who can be successful? Can you assign it? No. A student who has very good knowledge in math and science, in our society, he is already given preference. That see, this particular child is very good in maths. And is the society pressure, you myself, you would have understood this, like in class nursery, LKG, UKG, what I've seen is students are very good in maths. The moment they go to class 1, 2, the society pressure builds up. Your uncle, auntie will come to your home and they will ask you, how good is your child in maths? The first thing they will ask your parents this only. The parents will feel the pressure. My child has to do good in maths. And automatically a student gains pressure on that. My God, what is so worry about maths? Why everybody is pressuring on maths? And this pressure, if I say you, your good name, Annapurna, right?
Annapurna, right, sir.
If I pressurize you, Annapurna, that you have to complete this work in one day. If I pressurize you, you will see the creativity part goes out. But if I don't pressurize you, I give you a liberty, and you are a dedicated student, and I tell you, Annapurna, you have to complete this work as per your time, but make sure it is very quick. You will definitely not lose that creativity part in that work. Now, if I pressurize you to finish a sum, what will you do? You copy the sum. Because you need to show the homework to your teacher. But if I don't pressurize you, I assess you, and the student, like, in order to please the teacher that yes, I know how to do the sum, they will gain the knowledge. So I feel pressure decreases the creativity, and this is what the society is building. I don't know about other regions, but in my region, if I say in Bengali culture, a child is born and he is dedicated to become an engineer and a doctor. What I feel is, now if you say a child having a good hold on numbers, basically maths or science, and a child having very good hold on language, nobody can sit and say this child will have a good fortune, this child will have a bad fortune. So definitely success doesn't depend upon your exams, it doesn't depend upon numbers.
So, sir, so if I do sum it up, it brings a topic of critical thinking, right, sir?
Yeah, this is what we have to, input in every child, what they should do. See, like why I love maths is people say maths is a subject. I say maths is a language. Why maths is a language? If you say, suppose you are a child of class LKG, and I say you, and you know addition, I say you better 1 plus 1, you will say 2. I will say you better 1 plus 2, you will say 3. Then if I say you better x plus x, you say 2x. But you are in LKG. So if we try to take maths as a language, see, you will continuously hear maths, because I love maths, somewhere. I have never felt afraid of maths. I never felt afraid of maths. Because I start, see, it's very simple. You love your parents, the parents definitely love you. You love your friends, your friends definitely love you. Similarly, you love a subject, the subject will love you back. But the children, start hating the subjects. They feel pressure of the society. How much marks will I get? आपके बेटे को कितना मिला? मेरे बेटे को math में. See, the first thing the parents says, my parents have also said this. मेरे बेटे को math में 99 मिला. They don't talk about Hindi, they don't talk about English, they don't talk about SST, this and that. Straight away talk about मेरे बेटे को math में इतना मिला. That means my child is genius. Is it so? No. People doing language, people doing those who have very high hold on language and vocabulary, they are doing very good. The anchors, the news anchors. If I talk about Arnab Goswami itself, he is doing very good. So you cannot define anybody on the basis of simple marks or simple what he knows or he doesn't know. It's about critical thinking. Means what will you do in such situation? In a situation where I have given 1 chocolate and then I tell you to give me half chocolate back. How much chocolates, is held back by you? This is maths plus critical thinking.
So, sir, do you think right now would be a good time to introduce the concept of open book exams?
My smile has said a lot of things, like I'm telling you something. The importance of open book exams is only good for those people, those who have given open book exams in their life. And they have known open book exam देके भी मुझे कुछ मिल सकता है. Now you tell me one thing. I will not criticize any bad student or a good student. You are a student who takes up studies very sincerely. I will take the ratings on sincerity. And there is a student who doesn't take studies sincerely, but because he is much more involved in games and all. Now you have a book in front of you. He has a book in front of him. You both have the same question papers. You are writing your answers. He is writing his own answers. By looking at the same book, same questions, you get 100, he get 100. So how will you justify? Again, the question comes when? Intelligence. So how will I justify the particular student whether he has gained knowledge or not? It's about, see, it's not about syllabus. It's about gaining knowledge and implementing that knowledge in the society, in your daily life. I think this is the criteria of a school.
Right.
Now you cannot justify open book exam for a class 4, class 5, class 6, class 7, class 8, because they have simple question and answers there. So I myself am running a school, so I will justify the open book exam keeping my school in my mind. I'm not talking about the university exams. I feel in a school, open book exams are totally not justified. It doesn't justify a student. If I tell a student, okay, see, right now also we are having this, we had an oral exam where the teacher called the particular student and asked questions, and the students in turn answered the right answers. In that also you will see, what I have seen is, the student is very sharp, you know, they will say, Miss, mujhe sunai nahi de raha hai. Miss, I can't hear you, and in the meantime they open the book. In this scenario, if I say, okay, something is better than nothing. But for a future, no. Absolutely a big no. Yes, where you assess a person giving, like, you know, situations where they will justify their own situation, that is a different aspect. We cannot take everything in one bucket, you know. My brother, he is a law student. They are having this studies in online. Suppose Google Meet mein chal raha hai. What I see is, you know, what he does is, he opens the laptop, he is in the meeting, then he switch off the camera, switch off the mic, and he plays PUBG. And the teacher is continuously teaching. So, do you really feel this 1 year he has gained some knowledge? Are our students so much independent? No, we have not made them independent. See, we have to also let our students, let our teachers. See, I'm giving a good example. Suppose I tell you, you go and show to a doctor, Dr. X. Then I say you, Annapurna, whom do you want to show? Dr. X or Dr. Y? And you say me, sir, who is Dr. Y? I tell you, Dr. Y is someone who has taught Dr. X. Then you will say me, okay, sir, I'll go to Dr. Y, right? Then I will say you, okay, Annapurna, you have one more option. Will you go to Dr. Z? Then you say, sir, who is Dr. Z? Then I tell you, Annapurna, Dr. Z has taught Y. So what will you choose? Dr. X, Y, or Z? Dr. Z?
Right.
Right? I see. We have learned from books, from good writers. Then I'm teaching a student. If we try to understand this point, if we teach a student how to study from a book, don't you feel the student will be much more dependent on the book rather than the teacher?
Right.
This is what I want my students to gain, you know, how to learn directly from a book, how to understand a book, so that they, suppose I am teaching a trigonometry part. I am teaching from a single book. Now, if a particular child has interest in trigonometry, he can take up more books from the market. And if he knows how to learn from a book, definitely he will not require me. For the basics, I have taught her or him. But for specialization, he can take up more books, he or she. I can go through the books on his or her own. This should be done. Reading books directly. gaining knowledge from them, how to read and interpret a book, how to get the feelings from the book, what the writer was feeling when he or she was writing that particular book.
So do you think that given the current situation that we are in, uh, will it be a right time for schools to probably look out for other alternatives rather than just hold exams, like the traditional exams that they are having?
And you're talking about knowledge assessment right now. I'll not be able to justify anything on this. This particular scenario is totally new for everyone. The teacher, we are not an online school, we are offline, where we see, when we look into the eyes of each and every particular child, we understand whether he has understood or not, and then reply back. This is not happening. So the current scenario is totally questionable, and nobody is looking into it. My life was changed by one teacher, and I continuously tell all of my members her name, and that name is Niru Sood. I don't know whether she is, I don't know where is she right now, but she was my class 3 class teacher, and she changed my life. I was a very mediocre student in class 2. Class 3 was my turning point. And I pray to God, wherever she is, may God bless her. And that teacher is Mrs. Niru Sood. I don't know whether she might be coming across this interview, might be seeing this or not. She was my teacher in Good Shepherd School, where she changed my everything. She changed the way I look at studies right now. She changed the way I interpret a teacher. She changed the way to learn and mock up answers. I still remember. She was a very strict teacher, but she is, one teacher is Niru Sood and one more teacher is Sister Suma. These two teachers have changed my life.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.